Can we bring the dead back to life? How? What secret did scientists discover that allows them to manipulate death? What are the secret methods for bringing our loved ones back from the grave? Stay with us and learn about the most dangerous experiments in human history. But before we begin, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell button to receive all the latest updates. Since the dawn of history, the idea of resurrecting the dead has captured the imagination of humans. Ancient myths have spoken of this, from the story of Osiris in Egyptian mythology through religious stories to science fiction films. In the 17th century, the great epic of scientists' struggle with death began, and scientists' experiments to revive the dead focused on three main methods. The first method, electricity. Attempting to revive the dead using electricity, as electricity is one of the most tried and tested methods of stimulating dead bodies, due to its vital role in the nervous system and heart. Nerve signals depend on electrical impulses, and the heart works due to regulated electrical activity. When the heart and brain stop working, death is declared. So how can electricity revive the dead? In 1786, Italian scientist Luigi Galvani conducted experiments on dead frogs and noticed that their muscles contracted when exposed to electricity. This observation led to an emergence of a concept of bioelectricity and opened the door to the idea that electricity could be the force of life. Shortly thereafter, scientist Giovanni Aldini applied the idea of electricity to larger animals. He cut off a bull's head and connected an electric current to its body, causing it to move its limbs and excrete waste. In 1818, British physician Andrew Urey conducted experiments on the corpse of an executed criminal, attempting to restore the heart and lungs using electric shocks. Although some muscles did move, there was no real return to life. In the 1930s, American scientist Robert Cornish attempted to revive dead dogs using a device that pumped blood while applying electric shocks. He achieved some success in restoring certain functions for a short period, but the dogs did not survive long due to brain damage. Although electricity did not bring the dead back to life, it had other very important uses. It was used in cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR, and a defibrillator was used to restore the heart in cases of cardiac arrest. However, these shocks are only effective if applied within minutes of cardiac arrest. So, did scientists give up after electricity failed? Of course not. The second method, cloning. Cloning is the process of producing a living organism with the same genetic material as another organism, resulting in a genetically identical copy. In 1938, scientist Hans Spemann proposed the idea of cell nucleus transfer, which later became the basis for the idea of cloning. In 1952, scientists successfully cloned a frog from a somatic cell, but the organism did not live long. In 1996, the famous sheep Dolly appeared as the first mammal cloned from an adult cell, causing a scientific revolution. The sheep lived for 6 years before dying of lung problems. After the sheep, many animals such as cats, horses, and dogs were cloned. In 2016, for the first time in history, a mouse was cloned from the cells of a dead mouse, as all previous cloning cases were from live animals. In 2018, Chinese scientists announced the cloning of large monkeys, which sparked controversy, as the next step is certainly human cloning. But is cloning bringing the dead back to life? Cloning does not restore the soul or consciousness, but rather produces a new organism with the same genetic makeup, yet completely different in memory and personality from the original. So, this is not bringing the dead back to life. Will scientists remain silent? The third method, cryonics. Scientists have decided to take a new direction, which leads us to the third method of resurrecting the dead, namely cryonics. Could this be the solution? Let's explore this exciting topic together. What is cryonics? It's the process of preserving corpses and brains at very low temperatures using liquid nitrogen, around -196 degrees. in the hope of bringing them back to life in the future, when medical technology has advanced enough to treat the causes of death and repair the damage caused by the freezing itself. In 1962, geneticist Robert Ettinger published his revolutionary book, The Prospect of Immortality, in which he proposed the idea that freezing humans after death could be a way to preserve their bodies until science advances enough to bring them back to life. January 12, 1967 was a historic day, as the first human being in history was frozen. American professor James Bedford, who had kidney cancer, was preserved in liquid nitrogen at a temperature of -196 degrees Celsius, and his body is still preserved today at the Alcor Life Extension Foundation. Initially, freezing processes suffered from major problems, most notably cell damage due to the formation of ice crystals. However, with advances in cryopreservation science and the emergence of supercooling techniques, most of these problems have been solved. The three leading institutions in this field are two in the United States and one in Russia. Despite the amazing scientific progress we are experiencing, it is impossible to bring these frozen people back to life in our time, due to the damage that may be caused to the nerve cells in the brain, which could cause the brain to lose its memory and identity. Furthermore, there is currently no technology to repair the damage caused by freezing, and some scientists believe that the future developments in nanotechnology may provide solutions for repairing cells and restoring vital functions. However, to date, cryonics remain an experiment with uncertain results, and only a limited number of scientists believe in it. There are about 173 people who are convinced by the idea of cryonics and have frozen themselves, with the intention of being thawed out decades later when science has advanced. If you're convinced by the idea of cryonics, you can preserve your body and freeze it for 100 years for only 200 grams. And please don't forget, if you wake up after 100 years, to write to us in the comments, was the experiment successful or not? And before you freeze yourself, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell button.